Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So what in the world did Hunter Biden's shady lawyers do last night? So the president's son, he's going to be in the court of U.S. District Judge Maryellen Noreika this morning, here in a little while, for what is supposed to be a change of plea hearing for two very serious tax felonies that, of course, got negotiated down to misdemeanors after 5 years of investigating. And it's supposed to be the initial court appearance on a very, very serious gun charge. And just a refresher, for those that have not really been paying close attention, this gun charge is really very serious. It's a felony that would put literally anyone watching this video in prison for up to a decade. And if all goes Hunter's way here in a little while, he will enter into the diversion program, which basically means that as long as he's a good boy and doesn't break the law, doesn't use a drug for a couple years, it all goes away like it never even happened. Like just a little kid on drug court, just a high schooler. According to court documents, Hunter Biden, he's expected to plead guilty to both the tax charges and the gun charge. So, the judge, usually in a hearing like this, the judge typically asks the defendant a series of questions just to make sure that, everything's been explained, nothing's been coerced, his lawyer's not tricking him, the government's not tricking him, just to make sure that he understands his rights. And basically, they want to make sure that you're pleading guilty. And really, the important thing is what the potential sentencing range is. So obviously, Hunter's not expected to see any prison time, even though, even with this deal, a normal, non-protected princeling type person would be looking at facing a maximum, sentence of 12 years in prison. And the Associated Press has been reporting that prosecutors will recommend a sentence of entirely probation for the tax charges. And like I already said, they've agreed to diversion, which is an absolute gift for the gun felony. But guys, here's where things get absolutely wild. But before I continue, I want to thank everyone that's been showing all the great support lately, guys. We appreciate you subscribing and leaving all the positive comments. And if you haven't yet, please help us with the algorithm. Like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share the channel. Every time you do all of those things, the leftist loses their wings. So anyway, we'll get back to the story. So here's the way it looks. If the stars completely line up and the universe does what it should do in this case, the plea may be in jeopardy. The plea may very well get kinked by the judge here just in a little while. And there's a Republican congressman named Jason Smith. He filed a brief with the judge. He entered into evidence, basically, all of the unredacted IRS whistleblower testimony so that the judge has a full picture of everything that has been alleged to have happened on this deal, on the deal's way into her courtroom. And basically, if you want my opinion, which I guess that's why we're all here, it's just, the Congress's way, I think, of reminding the judge that the eyes of the world are on her. And she really is. This sounds like, hyperbole. This sounds like, drama, but she really is, man, the last hope for a justice system to at least keep up the appearances of an equal treatment system. And truly, man, Hunter's lawyers, they may actually be very worried about this, because check out what these freaking morons did. So these guys allegedly called the clerk of the court yesterday, impersonating the Republican lawyer that filed the brief, pretending that they entered into the record, that it was a mistake and that the government really didn't want the judge to consider the information in the morning's hearing. So this is literally only an idea that you could come up with or think even had a snowball's chance in hell of working if you were still completely high on expensive hidden White House cocaine. It's the only way you think of this, man. So the lawyers allegedly made a phony phone call and they tried to trick the court, which of course, obviously they should be, if this is true, they should be disbarred, obviously. But get this, man, it actually freaking worked. Just a phone call got the evidence and the filing removed. But apparently when your filing is removed, everything of course is electronic now. And whoever is responsible for putting in the filing, they get alerted. So about 1:30 p.m. yesterday Eastern, the congressional attorneys, they get a notice on their computer that their legal filing just got removed. So they immediately call the clerk trying to find out what's going on. And the clerk was like, dude, make up your mind, guys. You just called me to tell me to take this out. And they, of course, did not, which started a crazy chain reaction, a pretty epic. You got to read the stuff here in the Post about it. Pretty epic back and forth between the government and Hunter's lawyers. But anyway, so this tells me a couple things. One of two things. Either Hunter is that wild and really does believe that he can get away with absolutely anything, or they really are panicking over this one last hurdle that they have to complete before this sweetheart deal can be signed off on. And the judge, who, by the way, she is a Democrat, not that that matters, but they always want to talk about Democrat judge or Republican judge or whatever. A judge is a judge, by the way. But anyway, so apparently she was pissed, absolutely insane mad, and ordered the lawyers to explain themselves by 9 p.m. last night or be sanctioned. And guess what these freaking geniuses came up with? They wrote, "We have no idea how the misunderstanding occurred, but our understanding is there was no misrepresentation. We hope this letter and the attached declaration dispels any suggestion that undersigned counsel or our staff would ever intentionally misrepresent or mislead the court with respect to any matter." Yeah, so these guys absolutely do not care. They think they can do and get away with anything they want. But it gets better, man, because honestly, this is not even the worst news that the Bidens got yesterday, man. So House Speaker Kevin McCarthy finally freaking grows a pair. Finally. And I actually might be becoming a fan. Let me know in the comments if you are too, but he finally grows a pair. Take a look at this.
You've got an informant claiming that the Biden family had been bribed. Should you ignore that, or you should investigate that? The only way you can investigate that is through an impeachment inquiry, so the committee would have the power to get all the documents that they would need.
So get this, man. According to sources in the Federalist, or the Federalist sources, the FBI actually did look into the informant allegations and actually corroborated them. They found out that they were freaking true and basically did nothing. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But this is exactly why a Republican that is absolutely serious, only serious people apply, please, about fighting the federal weaponized bureaucracy. They've got to win in 2024. It might be our last freaking chance, man. The FBI allegedly corroborated that Ukraine gave Joe $5 million. Apparently, they did nothing on their end, but they told the U.S. attorney in Delaware. And this guy either sat on it or was blocked from going after it. At this point, I'm not even sure which one is worse. Let me know in the comments what you think is worse. But now we're learning that in that office of David Weiss, there was a Biden family. They had a mole. Someone very, very close to them worked in the U.S. Attorney's office in Delaware, a guy named Alexander Mackler, who in his career worked for Biden as a senator, Biden as VP, and the Biden-Harris campaign. And of course, like any good freaking spy book, also worked for the very same U.S. attorney, David Weiss, that gave Hunter this freaking amazing deal. Full circle, man. This amazing deal that we're tracking this morning. So here's where I'm at, man. If everything is so clean, and if the Democrats are so convinced that nothing wrong happened, why the cover-up? Why is this cover-up necessary? Why does the White House keep changing their story? And why does the president keep lying? And why don't we hold him accountable for his lies? Why? Just why? Why? Why are all Hunter's friends and business partners on their way to jail, in jail, or missing? And while we're on that topic, why can't anyone explain to us what exactly the Biden freaking family business even is? What product besides their name do they sell, allegedly? And how did literally every Biden, except for the innocent little 4-year-old girl that they all don't want to talk about and they all don't even recognize, how did they all get $17 million from a bunch of foreign nationals and nobody cares? Honestly, man, the Democrats, they claim with a straight face that Joe is not involved and never was involved, when we're finding out now that he actually had over 200 meetings with Hunter's shady pals, okay? We're about to have testimony on Monday that Hunter put the vice president on speakerphone at least 24 times. What was he talking about with these people that he says he never met and didn't know and had nothing to discuss? Now all the shady business partners are actually starting to flip. So Devon Archer is set to testify on Monday. This is a guy that was so close to the Biden family that Hunter had messages to him on the famous fake laptop telling him, "Devon, you're a Biden." And if this guy flips, I got to believe that it's over, man. But like I said in an earlier video, I'm starting to feel like the Get Trump folks, like every freaking time that we think, this has got to be it. This has got to be something that the Dems have got to pay attention to. Nothing happens. Anyway, you'd think eventually stuff would pile up so freaking high that nobody could even see over it. Apparently, he may not be the only one set to go on the record. It all looks pretty believable to us, but what do the geniuses who've been carrying the water believe?
Clearly, he was only getting his money because his last name was Biden. But what's been missing is that definitive link
to the president,
to his father.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by the president.
And Mr. McCarthy knows that.
I'm not sure where Joe Biden falls in any of this.
So yeah, he seems to fall basically all over it, if you really want to know. On top of it, to the side, to that side, all around. And now we've allegedly got Joe on the phone, Joe at meetings, Joe in photographs, Joe at dinners, the business partners meeting at the White House, business partners flying on Air Force Two, not to mention Chinese emails, Chinese text messages, all explicitly mentioning Joe. And, but here's the one that I think is the most difficult to explain. Honestly, this is the most difficult thing to explain. Not a lot of people are talking about this. Joe and two of Hunter's business partners, they have the exact same identical portfolio of investments. Identical. That's pretty strange. That is one of those things that's one of those paper trail things that actually ends up telling the whole story. But anyway, I don't know, I don't know what that's about. I really don't know where Biden falls in this, but it looks like he falls all over it, if you ask me. That's just my take, guys. Let me know your take in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share the Common Sense Garage, and we'll see you in the next one.